Welcome back everyone. So in the last video we solved compact object, and in this video we are going to solve event emitter. So let's get started. Okay, so we have to design an event emitter class. This interface is similar to, but with some differences to the one found in Node.js or the event target interface of the DOM. The event emitter should allow for subscribing to events and emitting them. Now your event emitter class should have the following two methods: subscribe method and emit method. This method takes in two arguments, the name of the event as a string and a callback function. This callback function will later be called when the event is emitted. An event should be able to have multiple listeners for the same event. When emitting an event with multiple callbacks, each callback should be called in the order in which they were subscribed. An array of results should be returned. You can assume no callbacks passed to subscribe are referentially identical. The subscribe method should also return an object with an unsubscribe method that enables the user to unsubscribe. When it is called, the callback should be removed from the list of subscriptions and undefined should be returned. Now the emit method. This method takes in two arguments, the name of the event as a string and an optional array of arguments that will be passed to callbacks. If there are no callbacks subscribed to the given event, return an empty array. Otherwise, return an array of results of the callbacks in order they were subscribed. So let's see first example. In this example, first an event emitter object is created, then we called with an emit. Now, since there are no subscriptions to any event, response will be empty. So in the output, we see first an event emitter object is created, then after emission, the response array, that is the result of emit, will be an empty array. Then we subscribe again, and then we emit. So subscription will be first event with this callback, and the second subscription will be for the same event with this callback. Okay, and then after we will emit for the first event. So there will be two values. The first one will be from the first callback, that is 5, and the second from second callback, that is 6. So the emission will be 5 and 6. In the example 2, first an event emitter object is created, then we subscribe for the first event with this callback. Okay, then we will emit. So the emission will be args will be joined using comma operator, and the first event is of 1, 2 and 3. These are the args, and these args will be joined like this. Okay, then the emission happens again, then the same result will be outputted. Okay, similarly the example 3 and 4. Okay, now we'll directly dive into solving this problem. So this is a class which has two methods as given in the description. So what we have to do is, when a subscribe method is called on an event, we have to register this callback on this event name, and a single event can have multiple callbacks. And we also have to return an object which has unsubscribe method, which when called will remove the callback, this particular callback in this event. Okay, now the other one is emit method. So whenever this event is emitted, we have to call all the callbacks that is registered on this event name, and we have to pass these args to all the callbacks that were registered on this event name, and we have to return the response. Okay, so to store these events and their callbacks, we'll have to create a subscriptions array. So we'll use the constructor, and inside this constructor we will create a variable, for example subscription. Okay, and this will be a map. Now it is given in the question that the subscriptions, you can assume no callbacks passed to subscribe are referentially identical, which means that, for example, their event with the name, say first event, and you pass this function callback, and if you register the same event again, so it said in the question that the same function for the event will not be passed again and again. Okay, now each subscription, so this is a map. So what this map will store, this map will store the key, and that is the event name, and the value will be all the callbacks that is registered against that event name. So whenever someone tries to subscribe, we'll first have to see if this dot subscriptions dot has event name, and if there is no such subscription on this event name, then we'll have to set one. So this dot subscriptions dot set on this event name an empty set. Okay, you can also use array also. So we checked that if there is no callback registered on this event, which means the event is not yet registered, then we'll first create an empty set, and in this set we'll get subscriptions dot get on this event name, and then we will add this callback. Now we have to return this object which has unsubscribe method, and when this unsubscribe method is called, we have to remove this callback on this event name. So we'll do this dot subscriptions dot get on this event name, and then delete this callback. So the reference, so this callback is equal to this callback. Okay, so the reference are same, because when we want to remove something from a set, for example an object, so for an object to be equal, the reference should be same. Okay, now the other method is emit. So whenever someone tries to emit this event, we have to call all the registered callbacks. So first we'll store all the results in an array. Now for all the events that is registered, we have to call them one by one and return the result. So for constant callback of subscriptions.get event name. Now when we try to get this event name from this map, the response, so for example we have registered callbacks on the first event, but for example when someone tries to omit with the first only first events, let's say, so first events is not in the map, so in that case it will return undefined. Also here we are checking that first event, if there is no event registered with this event name, we are creating empty set. But for first event that doesn't even exist in the map, this will return undefined. For that we'll do empty set. Okay, so for all those, what we'll do is we'll call all those callbacks and push the results in results array. Results dot push callback will call and pass the arguments to this callback function, and finally we'll return results. So two things can happen. Either this event name does not exist, in that case we will use the empty array. If the events exist in the subscription, the events registered are 0 or more. In case of 0 or event is not registered, this will be empty and the for loop will not run and will return empty results array. Else we will use the results that is given by all those callbacks in the same order and return the results. So now let's see the result of this. Okay, so this will be 3 dots for the spread operator. Okay, event name is not defined, so it should be event name. Okay, so our local test case has been passed. Now we will submit this and our solution got accepted. Okay, so let's see this example here. So what LeetCode will do is create an object of this, then this will be a callback and event emitter dot subscribe. So on this peak event, LeetCode is passing this callback. So emitter will emit when someone subscribes. We are returning this object. So that object is stored in subs, and when someone calls subs dot unsubscribe, we will remove the callback for this event. So this event is removed, and if someone tries to emit again for this on click, empty object is written, that is empty array, because there will be no registered callback for the same event because it is removed by unsubscribing. One more thing, why we have used sets here. So as given in the question that we have to call all the callbacks in order they were subscribed, but sets are not ordered. but yes, in JavaScript, the insertion order of the values are maintained. So when we get the callback from that set, the callbacks are iterated in the order, so we'll get the result or the response from these callbacks in order. Now you can solve this using array also, so we'll do that only now. So we'll replace this with an empty array, and whenever a callback will come, so it is also given that you can assume no callback passed to subscribe are referentially identical. So for this event name, we'll simply push the callback, and when we are trying to unsubscribe, first we'll need to know the index of this callback. Okay, but there is a problem here. Now let's say you have an array and you registered callback 1 for an event, callback 2 and callback 4. Now you know the index of your callback, this callback 3, is at index 2, and you want to unsubscribe based on the index, I'm saying. So based on the index, you want to unsubscribe or remove this callback 3. So the index is 0, 1 and 2. So whenever someone calls the unsubscribe method, you will remove the callback at index 2. But suppose before removing this callback, someone removed this callback. Okay. So at index 2, there is nothing, and you try to remove that callback at index 2. So we cannot remove the callback based on the index. So what we have to do is we have to remove based on referential. So that's when this line become important. You can assume no callback passed to subscribe are referentially identical, because when we try to remove, so first let me show you what we are trying to do. So what we will do is we will remove all the callbacks which match the referential identity. So we'll use filter where the CB callback and this callback is not equal to passed callback. And in doing so, first let's extract this result. So constant callbacks. So these are the callbacks, and using this callback, we will first push this callback, and when someone calls the unsubscribe method, we will filter these callbacks and then assign again to this event. Okay, so we will set these filtered callbacks again, and when we call this get method on the event name, we'll either get undefined or we'll get the callbacks registered, and if it is undefined, we'll use the empty array. Okay, so now let's see the result of this. So told you why is this line important. You can assume no callbacks passed to subscribe are referentially identical. Now let's say you pass the two same function for the same event. So for example, for the first event, you passed a function cb1, and you again registered the same callback for the first event. So for first event, there will be two callbacks, and those two callbacks will be same. And when you unsubscribe from one of them, this filter will remove both the callbacks. It will not remove a single, it will remove both, because both of the callbacks will be equal to callback, so it will be removed. It is mentioned here that no callbacks are referentially identical. When you are using sets, in that case also, when we push a callback for a given event, so it is pushed inside the set, and if the same callback is pushed again, then as you know that sets do not keep the duplicate copies, so it will automatically remove that duplicated part. And when someone comes to unsubscribe, we were using delete on the set, so delete will remove that left part of the registered callback. So what is happening is that both the callbacks were removed. One of the callback is removed by the set itself, and the other one is removed by us using delete operator. So that's why it is mentioned that the no callbacks passed to subscribe are referentially identical. So in doing so, when we remove a callback, only a single callback will be removed, because only one of the callback will match this given callback. Now we will submit this, and our solution got rejected. Okay, now let's see why. So we check if this has an event name, and if it doesn't, we'll set an empty array. These are the callbacks for the event, and these callbacks we will push this callback inside this callbacks, and when someone calls unsubscribe, we will set on this event name, these callbacks will be filtered out where the callback is not equal to the past callback. And in emitting, we'll use callback of this dot subscriptions dot get for this event name and result. So let's see what happens wrong. So the first event is subscribed with this callback, then first event is subscribed using x plus 2, and first event with x plus 3. Okay, then subscribe, and then we unsubscribe, and when we unsubscribe is called for this one, the last subscribe. So this x plus 3 is removed, and then we emit. So subscribed, and then we unsubscribe, so 2 times unsubscribed, and finally we emit. So the emission should only be 6, but we are getting 6 and 7. So when 2 times someone unsubscribe, these two last events should be removed, which means this one should be removed and this one should be removed, and only this one should left. So only x plus 1 should be emitted. When we use emit and emit on 5, so only 6 should be output there, but we are getting 6 plus 7, which means the second callback is also running. Okay, that is 5 plus 2 7, that's why we are getting 7. Now let's see what goes wrong. Now can you identify the bug here? It all resolves around the referentials. So we are doing something wrong in the unsubscribe. So if you know that, you can comment it out. So you see, we have taken the reference of this callback, which is good because references never change. So if you are pushing something in the array, then this reference will be that to original array. So there is no problem here, but the problem lies in the set. So this is a closure. Okay, this is a closure. When this function subscribe will complete, this object and this function will enclose the value of callback, that is original array in the subscriptions. There is no problem. So every object will reference the original array, but now the problem is we override that original array with the result of this filter. Now why is this problem? For example, you subscribe 3 times, which means 3 objects, 3 function are enclosing the same fallback. Okay, now one of them unsubscribed, and when one of them unsubscribed, you replaced that array with a new filtered array, which means the last two subscribe are holding the reference to an absolute or detached reference. Now there is a new reference in place of that old references. So when someone unsubscribe, that unsubscription happens from the original callbacks, but that should happen from the latest registered callbacks array, right? So the thing is, we are enclosing this callback, and instead of that, we should always get the latest callbacks for this event. Okay, now it should work. So let's first see the local test case, and now we'll try to submit this.